Hi guys, 911 SOS here. Today we're going to be looking at the unboxing of the Toto S8. This is an Android unit that I've purchased in order to put into a Porsche 911. Slightly controversial that, because obviously the purists would prefer that you leave the vehicles as standard. But with any changes that I do on these cars, I basically do it in such a way that when you swap them over, you can actually put the old unit back in, and there's no drills, no anything that's going to affect it. I went for the S8 premium version. As you can see here, it's got 2 GB of RAM and 32 GB of internal memory. You can actually expand that memory to unlimited with SD cards, things like that, so that should be perfectly sufficient to do the operating system. It's a 1.8 gigahertz operating system, 1.87, so it will be sufficiently fast. It's got a very quick boot time. It's got dual Bluetooth, so what that means is you can actually connect up to 3 devices at the same time. So you'll be able to connect things like OBD readers, obviously your phone if you wanted it via the USB, or you can either do it on the Bluetooth as well. So there's various units that you can link to the Bluetooth. It's got internal Wi-Fi, which we'll be having a look at and discussing. It's got a DSP system, which is the digital sound processor, which essentially means you can equalize the sound with equalizers. There's 30 odd different variables you can look at, but you can make it sound exactly how you want it to sound, which is a very beneficial thing to have in a vehicle, especially when you're dealing with amplifiers and crossover points, if you understand that type of thing. With your front to back speakers and things like that, you can get some very strange sounding units. You can put a very decent unit into a car, and unless it's got some sort of equalization, or unless you know what you're doing with crossover points, speakers and things like that, they can sound pretty terrible. So that's something to be aware of, that it's a very useful thing to have for you, in order for you to get around that issue. This unit as well has got CarPlay, so obviously it's bang up to date. Effectively, the reason that I'm changing this out is I've actually changed the old Porsche unit out of the vehicle, which was the PCM2 system, some time ago, but now the unit that I've got in the vehicle is not sufficient. It's not up to date enough. This should take me into the 21st century and hopefully give me many years of pleasure. So let's take a look. It's very nicely packaged. There's no damage to the box, and I ordered this actually off a Chinese site, and main reason for that was, in this country this retails at around about £330 for the premium unit, and they go obviously upwards. You can get something called the starter pack unit, which you can get for around £170, that type of thing, but I went for the better unit. But I actually got this from a Chinese site for £202, so extremely reasonable, and it came via Amazon Prime from Italy, and it was here within 3 to 4 days, which, if anybody's had any experience of buying things from China, it can usually take up to 2 months. So that's useful to know that they're obviously using Amazon Prime and shipping it from Europe to get it here quicker. So let's take a look. Now this is something that confused me. In the picture, when you actually look online on various sites, all you see is that it says it's got an ISO unit. Now this is a customizable ISO unit, which I'll explain a little bit further in a moment, but you can essentially solder the different things in so that you've got things exactly the requirements for your vehicle or for your personal what you're actually going to be doing. Now that's the only thing that's listed online, so I thought I was going to have to do all of that, and I've actually ordered this part of the unit. Just if you imagine that cut off there, I've ordered that to obviously solder onto there, but clearly not required because it's got a standard. This is a European ISO connection. Now if you see that there, what you'll notice is it's got 8 connections in here. They speaker connections, and it's only got 4 connections in this part of it, which will be sufficient for most vehicles, although you can actually get additional pins, or this, you can get the pins out of these if I really want to, but you can actually pin this up. Like for instance, that'll be the live that goes from your vehicle in the Porsche. It's a black and blue wire. Now I could actually pin that into there and have it connect in direct to the black and blue in the Porsche, which is a live feed that goes into the unit that actually tells it to turn the rear view camera on. Therefore the screen will automatically, when you go into reverse, it will automatically go on to the reversing. And then you've got amplifier, for instance. You've got your amplifier startup. If you have got amplifier in the vehicle, you can use your amplifier startup. You've got your steering wheel, what they call the key 1 and key 2 steering wheel connections are on there. So that's effectively for what they call an analog, not the new CAN bus digital units, but that's the old analog, just your 2 wire. It basically reads pulses. And it will change your volume up, down, that type of thing, which you can get on a lot of older vehicles. Will have that type of system. And then parking brake, so that's your parking brake. Again, that's another feed that basically tells the system that your parking brake's on, so therefore you can do things like view things on YouTube and all that type of thing. You can actually, it's illegal to do so, but you can actually wire that up so it's on permanently. So if you've got children in the car, they can watch what they want and that type of thing. So, and it's actually got another one that the connections look to be in exactly the same place. So that's strange. Yeah, it looks identical. Don't know why I've got that, but hey ho. This is your GPS antenna. So it's got internal maps. Obviously you can link it to Google Maps on your phone, or it's got Google Maps as well on it. You can download Waze and things like that because it is an Android unit. Obviously, just like an Android phone, you can download different things that you use. So that's the GPS. There's a 3M sticker on the back there, obviously, for plugging that in. And then this looks like the what? Yep, that's the Wi-Fi antenna, which you could put perhaps up in the perhaps up in your A pillar, that sort of thing, or it will probably be powerful enough to get it down the back of the unit. Providing you've got space, you can again 3M stick that up there, but that's your Wi-Fi. So effectively, what this is for is you can link your phone to what's called hotspots, which you can pick up your hotspot for your unit, and you can link the hotspot so that you're actually using your data on your phone. So when you're using things like Google Maps or YouTube, anything like that, music, you know, streaming music online, that sort of thing, it'll actually do it via the Wi-Fi, pick it up, take it to the unit, and the unit will use your data off your phone, rather than having to put SIM cards and things like that, which I know you can get in some of these units. You can put your own SIM card in, but there's no need. This is a dual USB. Looks like it's got a unique plug there for obviously the back of the stereo unit, but this is a dual USB, so you can obviously plug your phone into there, get your CarPlay, and it will charge it as well as you go through your CarPlay. You can put your iPods. One of the things I'll be using on this is a DVR, which is a digital get the word out, digital video recorder, which effectively is a dash cam, but this unit will have an internal program where you can actually record and adjust the dash cam to your liking via the link on that, the USB. It's also very neat as well because there's less cabling. This is your data and your power and everything for it. There's just literally one cable going to your DVR unit, your dash cam. So that's very useful. Now this is the front camera, and I will be adding a front camera unusually to this 911. Main reason is there's been where I come out of different junctions and things like that, like parking spaces mainly, and when I've been visiting friends and they live on tight country roads, you stick your nose out of some of these gates or like I say, out of a parking space, and you really can't see the oncoming traffic. So at a touch of a button with my I've bought an 180 degree camera, I'll be able to see right and left at a touch of a button on the screen of my car. I'll be able to see if there's any oncoming traffic, that type of thing. So that could be very useful. So that's something, again, I'll be doing video on the installation of this, and I'll also be doing a video on the rear camera. So I'll be fitting a rear camera to this car. Again, I've gone for the AHD, which is the high definition 180 degree angle camera. And with the Porsche 911, there's a dual firewall when you're trying to get from the rear of the vehicle to the front of the vehicle, obviously where your stereo unit is. And people have a lot of trouble getting through there. They take all interior parts out and all sorts of business, and it takes them hours and hours. And I'll be showing you a very simple, quick way of doing that. It's completely unnecessary to strip all the interior out, and so I'll be doing another video on the install of that, and hopefully that'll help a lot of people, because I can see it's caused a lot of people stress. So this is obviously the microphone. This will be used for your calls, your online calls, you know, when you're on your phone, that sort of thing, on Bluetooth or whatever. Also Siri, it will pick up your Siri. It looks like a good, decent quality unit. There's plenty of sort of ventricles there for it to pick up the sound, and you've got a little, that's actually a wind buff. Maybe you'll need that in convertibles, or if you've got your sunroof open or something like that, but I doubt whether I'll be using that. We'll see, because mine is actually the Targa version, so may well need that little buff there. Now this again, online, this led to confusion, because looking at various sites, including the Toto site, it wasn't very clear on how I was going to have a fascia on this unit, but I can see now that this has come in two separate parts, whereas this is the only thing that you can get information on. This is a universal clip, so effectively that will go on the front of the player, and then this is actually fascia that will then clip onto there, and then obviously that will give you a nice neat finish. Now I've actually ordered a different fascia because I didn't know this was coming, but that's fine because I can try the two different ones, because the one I've actually got a curved in unit, so that the fascia here will actually curve in. It's slightly larger than this as well, so it's a bit deeper, so it fits the Porsche specifically a lot better, or hopefully it will, because I'm only going off the dimensions online. But because this has got a flat face screen and there's no sticking out buttons and things like this, I just feel that if it's proud in the vehicle with this type of fascia on, it just won't look quite right, and I want it to look as OEM as possible. And I know it's not OEM for you purists out there, but you know, I want it to look like it actually came in the vehicle and it's kind of like the up-to-date version. So that's good to know that I'll be able to use that, and then I can try the two different fascias. Maybe you can put your comments online, and we'll actually see what you think, whether I've made the right decision having a different fascia. These are your mounting brackets that obviously go on the unit, allowing you all sorts of different positions to position your unit back, forth, up, down on the rear ones there. So actually not required for what I'm doing, but could be useful in a lot of installs. Comes here with the Toto manuals. You can see here the different models you can get. The Ultra is the top. Pro, there's actually a Pro Plus as well. There's a standard version, and then this being the manual for the premium version, which actually sits between the standard and the Pro. But what I found looking at the spec is the premium version gets a lot of the really important things, like the 5.1 Bluetooth, dual Bluetooth, and it gets the better Toshiba amplifier, which is 29 watts RMS of power. That's obviously down to your choice, but I chose that because it seemed like the right one. But like I said, it cost me £202, which is extremely reasonable. Obviously I haven't fitted it yet. We'll see how reasonable that is when we actually hear the unit and see how it operates. So that's nicely packaged. It's very light. The unit that came out of my car, the PCM unit, and the unit that I've got in there has got a DVD player. So there's a significant weight difference between the two. So that's interesting. Not that I'm in a weight weenie, wanting to save the, you know, every microscopic ounce that you can off a vehicle. So this is nicely packaged. Let's get it out like that. Let's take a look. Okay. Now that is a nice looking unit. Yeah, the screen looks very clear. It actually looks like it's got a screen protector on too. This is a 5-point touch screen system, so it's what they call an ISP system, or screen rather, which is supposedly extremely clear in bright daylight, and obviously very vibrant. It's a HD 1080p screen, so it's supposedly very vibrant in colours and things like that when you're watching YouTube videos or whatever it is you're doing on it. So let's take a look at the rear. It's got, first thing you notice is it's got a heatsink here, nice aluminium heatsink, obviously to take heat away from, you can't see that in there, but I can see that it's kind of linked to around the amplifier area. So here we go, here's your Wi-Fi connection. These are all your different connections, your front, back. These are your speaker connections. Let's have a look what you've got there. You've got obviously your RC ins, you've got your subwoofer connection. Over here you've got your GPS. There's a microphone connection there, and that's your IR, which you can get a bespoke, when I was talking earlier about a canvas system, which is basically just a little receiver device for picking up your steering wheel controls. You can actually get one off a Toto to fit in there. This is where your USBs and your video cables that we've seen go in the back of the unit. So looking through there, there's not a lot in the back of these units these days. Obviously it's not got your CD, DVD carriage, all that sort of business. But this particular unit, like I said before, it's got the Toshiba amplifier, which is very good. It's got a good supposedly a good radio receiver. I've checked all these things out online. A lot of these units, the Android units, one thing that's really good about them is they actually tell you exactly what electronics are actually in the unit. So it will tell you the processor, which is a 1.87 gigahertz sort of speed rate, which is a fast speed rate. They tell you the amplifier. You can get the 7850 unit, or you can get the 7851, which is the successor to that. Both half decent amplifiers, but this has got one step up from that. It's got the Toshiba amplifier, and like I said, it's got the digital sound processor, so we should be able to get the sound exactly how I want it. So let's have a quick look. Like I was saying earlier, I'll just get this out and you can see what I was talking about there. You can see there how that goes obviously onto there, which is a perfect fit, and that will clip on. I can see here that, yeah, that will clip on, and then that clips onto there. And like I said, I've got an additional fascia that I'm gonna put on there because you can see how flat that fascia is without any sticky out buttons and that. And if you imagine it sticking proud out of the dash, which is how a lot of these units fit in the vehicles when you use the standard bracketing, I just don't think it will look right, and I want it set inwards with some sort of sweep towards it. So it'll be interesting to see how that looks and what you guys think. So that's it, essentially, the unboxing and in-depth discussion around the unit and the type of things you can get. Obviously, like I said, it's an Android unit, so you can download all sorts of different apps for it and use it as literally you would an Android phone. And like I say, it's got the Android Play, it's got the CarPlay, so you can use that as well. So what I'll be doing is there'll be another video that's going to be the install of this. There's also going to be the video with the install of the rear camera and then the front camera, and obviously showing you the implications of trying to get it through the firewall of a 911 car. But actually I'll be giving you hints and tips on how to get wiring through any car, because you know, just about any car you work with, if you're trying to get an RCA, which is one of these units, if you're trying to get one of these RCAs through any type of grommet, rubber plug, or somewhere where it's just blind and you can't see what you're doing, there are some hints and tips that will be very useful to anyone trying to do that, that I can show you. So thanks for watching, guys. It's free to subscribe, so give us the thumbs up if you like the video. Attach any comments you like, it's fine, plus or minus, positive, negative, whatever. But please subscribe, and I'll see you on the next video.